I'm here to ask you one question, and one question only. Explosions?
Hello, my fellow hunters! I have a very important question to ask you. Have you ever wanted to be Brachydios? Don't answer, actually, because obviously I know you have, because he's the best monster, so luckily for you, I've got you covered, because this build today is all about maximum explosions! Yes, indeed. How could I not do something with the Brachydios Greatsword? How could I not craft something to let me swing this stick of explosion with maximum unbridled force? The build itself, then, is quite simple, but it does make use of old-school Greatsword when we talk critical draw. And the thing is, in Iceborne, crit draw Greatsword's quite good. Especially with element, of all things. Inconceivable! And status, too. In this case, blast. So, we are taking advantage, of course, of the augment system to have our Brachydios Greatsword, which already has all of the blast, fully upgrading it with 3 status augments, and of course our set will involve 4 blast attack, which reaches a dizzyingly, staggeringly high level of explosion prowess. This is what we're working with, and it works absolutely fantastically. 4-piece gold wrath is essentially required for true critical status, as the goal here is for as many explosions as possible, so we have to take that into account, and well, the 4 pieces to choose are done for us, because the boots have only 1 slot and weakness exploit, both of which isn't great when we're critical drawing to 100% affinity anyway, and this works out perfectly because we can use the Velkhana boots to get critical draw and a little bit of coalescence. So the skills that we're aiming for are thus. This is fantastic, and the reason it is fantastic is because we get Divine Blessing rank 5 as a little just side benefit to using this armor, which means we don't really need the health augment because the health we save from constantly reducing damage by 60% makes up for it in a big way, so we can comfortably go for maximum blast. Obviously, blast attack being level 4 now in master rank is very helpful too, but the thing that might stand out here then is the coalescence, and this is quite good, and it actually works a little bit with resentment, which I really quite like. Now, if I did have the level 2 charm, which I can't physically craft yet, then I would use the beta of the Velkhana boots and fit in a little bit of extra skillage from the 4 slot, but it's really not a big deal. So, coalescence increases your status build-up by 15%, and some element, and some attack, which is very tasty, don't get me wrong, but 15% more status build-up. This lasts 90 seconds after you, for example, roll out a fire, or lose water blight, or even just naturally recovering from a stun triggers it too. This skill is actually fantastic, and I think it's going to start propping up more and more as people explore and theory and make sets further into the expansion. But for our purposes it's great, as its 15% is the key to unlocking, well, maximum blast triggers, coupled with the natural pairing of crit status and crit draw, with a greatsword that is built for that being already supremely effective. This set just...
It's perfect.
And this means it's very much an easy buff to maintain against a lot of Iceborne monsters, because a lot of them constantly apply blights to you. Namiel, water, Velkhana, ice, there is fire galore everywhere. And because we have the Divine Blessing, deliberately taking a hit in order to then trigger Coalescence is fine because it will be reduced. And then because you have red health, the little bit of resentment you get just from Golden Wrath actually does come into play, and you can hit fairly solidly with this. So it very much blends together quite nicely. So you want to be deliberately taking a debuff and then getting rid of it once every 90 seconds. It's a really chunky, meaty buff. So there's like the Explosion Phoenix right here, and that's something I absolutely adore. The playstyle is what you might expect. Choose your moments, snipe heads, get your tenderizing on, do your lovely shots into the wall, and generally, well, explode through the monster. Give your Palico the Brachy weapon too, and you really will see a lot of blast triggered. And the damage is really respectable, the flinch power is really respectable, the part breaking potential is really respectable. Just get constant huge damage, flinching explosions on like every third draw slash, and it's just a lot of fun to have a different style of Greatsword play. And finally, well, use the Brachy Greatsword that I have not picked up since Brachy's introduction, where it was just phenomenally powerful in all situations. I really do love this set, and it's just simple good fun. It's a little breath of fresh air to swap up to every now and then. On anything that's susceptible to blast, which, to be fair to blast, is most of the roster. You have a few that really it works on, but there are very few that it isn't at least good, and that's very exciting, because you could for sure just use this as your standard set and you wouldn't go wrong. The kill times are slower, of course, than an optimized raw Greatsword build, but they're still definitely appreciable, and you can get what you need to hunted. So there's not really much to say when it comes to this, so I don't know, here's Brachydios rapping.
Hi there, hello, it's time to blow up at Brachydios, you know. Stop a beautiful
And that's about that. This, as I said, isn't the craziest build in the world, but I just wanted to use the Brachydios Greatsword. I wanted maximum explosions, and really this is the way to achieve it in a set that functions, is decently powerful, and is a lot of fun to use. So if you like your status, if you like your blast, if you like your Greatsword, if you like your Brachy, this is the one for you. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. I will see you next time. A goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you, even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on, and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.